the mighty and resilient Merrimack River, carving through the communities of our great region. My name is Linda Lorden, proud president of Merrimack County Savings Bank, and like the river that serves as our namesake, we're a constant yet ever-changing presence. Because to us, it's bigger than banking. It's about powering communities and putting people first. It's about knowing where you came from and where you're going. That's Merrimack style. Visit us at themerrimack.com.
Hello and welcome back to Chasing Excellence, a show about chasing what truly matters. My name is Patrick Cummings. As always, I'm here with Mr. Ben Bergeron. Hello, sir.
Hello, Patrick.
How are you today?
Doing great. Yeah.
Good. Thanks everybody out there for joining us this here episode. We have listener questions this time around where we take listener questions about the 5 factors of health, those few fundamental behaviors that most positively affect our performance, vitality, and longevity. For those folks who may be new, welcome. Thanks for joining us. The 5 factors: how we eat, how we move, how we think, how we connect, and how we recover. This week, we've got 4 questions, all of them inside of our move/train category. We're going to talk about muscle ups, avoiding rhabdo, the limitations of training in small CrossFit gyms, and then prioritizing strength as we get older. Before we do, as I like to remind folks, www.chasingexcellence.email. If you would like to get a question into a future episode, we surely would love it. You can also join us there for our premium membership where you get ad-free episodes, more content, challenges, and conversation. And then I do have a very quick listener recommendation. I don't have anywhere else to put this, so I'm just jamming this into this episode. This is from Larissa. She says, not really a question, but Ben said he doesn't listen to podcasts regularly, and I feel he should know about Hidden Brain. It's from NPR, that it's all about how the human brain works and the effects that it then plays out in our lives. I believe this is a show you both can use in your day-to-day. It aligns with how you are very learning and growth-oriented. My weekly staple listens are Chasing Excellence and Hidden Brain. They often complement each other in the most fantastic ways. And that's it. No question, just a strong recommendation. So thank you, Larissa. I've listened occasionally to Hidden Brain, but certainly not with any regularity. So we will check that out. Thank you for that. Alrighty, this first question we've got is from Samantha. She is, in fact, a premium member. One of the perks of being a premium member is if you send us a question, I will do my best to get it into the first episode I can. So thank you, Samantha, for that. This is her question. Despite doing CrossFit for years, I haven't improved at achieving chest-to-bar pull-ups or the highly coveted muscle-ups. Do you have tips or a structure you coach for stringing chest-to-bar pull-ups? I can do a few singles, but eventually fatigue. I can do kipping pull-ups and maybe 1 or 2 strict pull-ups. I recall you advising another listener on a pull-up program in prior episodes. Should I focus on that first?
Yes, you should. To get chest-to-bar pull-ups, you don't necessarily need to be able to do strict pull-ups. That's what I would suggest. So if you have 1 to 2 strict pull-ups, the necessary strength to be able to work it's going to sound weird because strength and coordination are 2 separate things. One is a organic adaptation. The other one's a neurological, meaning one is like essentially your muscles, and the other one is more like your brain synapses. But man, having a little strength reserves helps a ton. It's kind of like being able to hit a baseball far. It's more timing, coordination, and technique than it is brute strength, but having some brute strength certainly helps a ton. So my suggestion for Samantha would be just that, would be to go on a strict pull-up program. And now here's where most people go wrong on this, and it's probably what we talked about last time she's referring to this, is they do too many reps, and they're not working actual strength. So they put in a band or they make it too easy, and they're doing reps, the 8, 10, 12, something like that. You can do 1 to 2 strict pull-ups, meaning 1 pull-up is a 90% effort for you. I need you to do at this point, I need you to do a bunch of 1 day a week, a bunch of singles, like 10 to 20 single reps. Like do a pull-up all the way up, control it all the way down, come off the bar, and then rest as long as you need to be able to do another one and get to where you can do 10 or 20. A second day of the week, we're going to keep it in the strength range. We're going to do triples. This is the same way we get stronger with a barbell. We would do singles, we would do triples, and we would do 5s. And that's what I'm going to have Samantha do. 10 to 20 sets of one. Now people go, well, that's a lot with a barbell. Yes, it would be, but it is a little bit different when you're moving your own body from a central nervous system perspective than moving an external load. So you can handle a little bit more. So we're going to do 10 to 20 singles. Then you're going to do 8 sets of 3 and make each set as hard as you can with as minimal resistance of a band as possible. 8 sets of 3, as close to max efforts as we can, resting as long as we need to in between. And then you do a final one that week with just 5 sets of 5. Not a whole lot different than what we do for strength training if you're trying to improve your squat. And that's what you're trying to do. Once you can see significant changes, meaning now that you could do probably 4, 5, or 6 pull-ups in a row, I would have you repeat the same process, but with strict chest to bar pull-ups. And now you get to 3, 4, or 5 strict chest to bar. Now I can play all the technique games we want to, because now technique is truly the limiting factor. We don't have 2 limiting factors, which is strength and technique. So eliminate one of them. And if you eliminate the technique one, but you're still not strong enough, you're going to be at 0. So you need to eliminate the strength one first. And by doing that, you do a strength protocol of singles 10 to 20, of 3s times 8, and of 5s times 5.
Do you feel like more athletes than not will try to fix the technique without fixing the strength first? Right? In other words, going in that kind of inverted order. Is there something sexier about trying to get the technique versus the patience necessary for the strength?
I think that more people will go to it, and the reason for it is they just want to be able to post scores.
Got it.
So they can get a couple, so they're just like, hey, I just want to keep doing them and doing them. Instead of taking a step back and working on some strength, they just keep doing them. So said another way, maybe it's a better way to answer them. They don't work on them at all. They do them in workouts. That's not working on them. That's just you taking every available shortcut that you can to get a better score. So you have to work on them outside of the workout.
Take it. All right. Thank you, Samantha, for that question. Next one we've got is from Sarah. I've developed rhabdo annually for the last 3 years, resulting in hospital stays to flush my kidneys. The last time was in the spring. I know. The last time was in the spring of 2023, after which I was advised to take a year off from working out to fully evaluate the causes, as the workouts were not typically heavy or long, nor the kind usually associated with rhabdo. Regardless, I am now cleared to start working out again, but am unsure where to begin due to a mental block and concern about ending up back in the hospital. I understand that. How would you recommend starting, building, and customizing a plan to rebuild both strength, muscle strength, and confidence? And then she gave us a little bit of context. I'll go through this quickly because I'm not sure if any of this is particularly useful to you, but she sent it to us, so I want us to put it on the table. She says, I walked and did mountain biking during the past year. Realistically, I know I should have been running. That's on me. Number 2, she's 39 years old now, but fitness has always been central to her life. It's allowed her to compete as a D1 soccer player, fly for the Air Force, compete in various sports, maintain my mental sharpness and focus by providing a wonderful outlet. And 3, after the first 2 instances, the only recovery protocol I found was designed for high-level athletes. I customized it to my needs since I no longer consider myself a high-level athlete, but I'm in it for health, longevity, and mental well-being. Almost a year to the date, I ended up back in the hospital, and it happened again the following year. In other words, the recovery protocol she found didn't seem to do the job. So, okay, that was a lot from Sarah. What do you think?
Sarah's a badass.
Sarah is a badass.
Yeah.
So I want to help her.
D1 athlete and flew for the Air Force and multiple sports. Okay, for a little context for people that might not even know what the heck we're talking about, rhabdo is short for rhabdomyolysis. It is one of the ways to get it is from training so hard that muscles actually break down and the particles enter the bloodstream. And essentially, it's not really what's happening, but think of it as like they sort of like get in there and the kidney tries to filter them and it poisons the kidneys. You get up with kidney failure. And it's a very, very serious condition. It is not taken lightly. And you can be hospitalized for very long periods of time, and it can take a very long time to come back from. Training hard is not the only way to get it, though. You get it from a car crash or even like falling asleep on your arm too long, like your arm like just goes numb. Okay, I wish that she had told us like the workouts she got them from. That would be the biggest telltale for me. So I kind of have to. I'll play detective without any clues.
Without knowing if you're on the right track.
Yeah. So here would be my first question. Did you have alcohol the day before? The biggest consistent thing that we've seen firsthand. And I've seen this, I know about maybe 6 to 8 people that have been hospitalized with rhabdo from training, is alcohol. Alcohol the day before and coming into their workouts in a dehydrated state. So much to the point now that when we do Murph on Memorial Day, it's Memorial Day Monday and people just had a big weekend, it's now a part of our talk. We say if you had drinks yesterday, we really strongly recommend that you do half Murph because it's too much volume and your muscles can't handle it in that state. So that'd be my first question is like, hey, Sarah, is there any chance that the times that you've had this, you had alcohol in the day or two prior and or just for any other strange reason, severely dehydrated? Mm-hmm. And maybe not even severely, but it's no mystery that the cure for rhabdo is they just pump you full of fluids. Mm-hmm. It's like, the next would be, this is a weird one, I would just want clarification, is actually tell me what your CK levels were, just so I have an understanding of how severe it was, because some doctors are actually oversensitive to it. They see CK levels in the 600 or 700s, they're like, oh my God, they freak out and they put you in the hospital because they've never seen that. Most of our athletes are probably walking around with levels in the 300 or 400s, which would be cause for alarm. And when this first became, it means you train hard. Because you're supposed to have levels, around 100 or something like that. And the couch potatoes will be below 100. If you are active, you are breaking down muscle. If you are breaking down muscle, there is going to be elevated CK levels. So just like truly, what are the numbers? Are you above the 800? Are you in the thousands? Are you in the 2000s? Like, what are your symptoms? So that would just be the next thing I'd want to know, but it's not going to help her in this situation if they were high. If they were high, the next thing I would do is work in a fashion that diminishes DOMS, mean delayed onset muscle soreness, like work in a way that doesn't break down muscle, which would be really working on minimizing eccentric loading. So this is where, again, we talked about this recently, but biking would become in very handy because there's not a lot of eccentric loading, and things like Olympic lifting, strangely enough. Very, very little eccentric loading in Olympic lifting. Particularly in the power variations. In the squat variations, there's exponentially more. Mm-hmm. But you could work with, and you get incredible amounts of fitness and training in with some Olympic lifts and cycling. So that's the place I would go to next. And I would just very, very, very stair step it up in terms of volume and intensity. Meaning do it very, very light for very, very little. And do that repeatedly being probably towards the tune of 6 to 10 sessions. Meaning that's probably going to take you 2 or 3 weeks before you put in this next little, just this tiny little bump up. It's the same way I bring back anyone from any injury. Someone has a back injury, it's like, okay, we are going to do this. We're going to take the safest movements possible, and we're going to do that for 2 or 3 weeks. And how do we feel? You feel better than you did before. Okay, after 2 or 3 weeks, time to just kind of turn up one dial, one notch, because the goal is no steps back. We have a very low trajectory towards a very distant horizon. That's the goal, with no sliding back. We're going to push this rock up a very slow incline, but it's not going to be heavy, and we don't have to risk this thing rolling back and crushing us. So I would just start very, very slowly and ramp it back up very, very slowly.
Have you ever heard of somebody getting a repeated dose of rhabdo year over year, or is that? That's obviously to me was the most surprising thing.
Yeah, it happened like Murph, because they do a huge workout after a big celebration. That is not an uncommon thing. So just that little bit of like, and maybe that's an awareness thing for Sarah or not. She goes, no, it's totally different and it just falls in this random thing. But yeah, that's the reason it shows up cyclically.
Got it. Okay, we've got 2 more questions. But first, a quick word of thanks from some sponsors. We're brought to you this week by our friends at Cozy Earth. Have you ever thought about how your sleep environment can affect your fitness and health? Of course you have, because you listen to this show. Well, our friends at Cozy Earth have as well. They've designed a range of luxurious and comfortable bedding and loungewear that elevates your sleep experience to a whole new level. After a solid day of training, there's nothing better than immersing yourself in the rejuvenating comfort of Cozy Earth bedding. Trust me, your body will thank you for it. And guess what? Your sleep sanctuary doesn't have to be limited to your home. With Cozy Earth's travel-friendly products, you can say goodbye to restless nights and hello to revitalizing sleep wherever life takes you. And let's not forget about their temp-regulating bamboo joggers and pullover crew. They are perfect for those post-workout relaxation sessions, keeping you cool and comfortable no matter what comes next on your journey. Why not give it a try? Visit CozyEarth.com and unlock an exclusive 30% off with the code EXCELLENCE. Again, CozyEarth.com. Use the code EXCELLENCE. Prioritize your well-being without sacrificing your health and fitness goals.
I gotta talk. Have you? I got the pajamas. Have you? I got the Cozy Earth pajamas.
No, I got some really comfortable shorts, but no pajamas.
Dude,
yet.
Holy smokes!
They're comfortable.
Like, these are it's like wearing lotion. It's insane.
It's like wearing a hug.
It's like wearing a cloud. It's unbelievable how comfortable they are.
Yes.
And they are this weird, like, you put them on and you like feel cooler for some reason.
Not cooler like kids will think you're
No,
cool.
no, not cooler like like I got a pretty nice pair of sunglasses. Cooler like there's a fan blowing on me. And so for 30%, I like dudes listening to this, buy these things. Buy the shorts and the t-shirt they sleep in. I don't know how they advertise it, but I promise you'll love them. They are incredible.
All right. We're also brought to you this week by Bond Charge. I want to share with you one of my favorite recovery tools, the Bond Charge Infrared Sauna Blanket. Learn more by going to BondCharge, that's BONCHARGE.com, and make sure you use the code EXCELLENCE to save 15% off your order. The sauna blanket uses infrared light to heat your body directly, giving you all the benefits of a regular sauna from the comfort of your home, or in my case, the comfort of my guest room. I try to get into the blanket at least once a week, if not twice. In truth, I use it not only to recover before bed, but also as the only excuse I give myself to watch TV at night. And it is a great excuse to lie for about 30 or 45 minutes, catch up on whatever is on Netflix. The Bond Charge Infrared Sauna Blanket can help you burn up to 600 calories in just a session, sweat out heavy metals and toxins, boost circulation for clearer, brighter skin, and relax your mind and body to improve sleep and lower stress, and so much more. Plus, Bond Charge products are all HSA, FSA eligible, giving you tax-free savings of up to 40%. Trust me, you'll love the Bond Charge Infrared Sauna Blanket as much as I do, so order one today. For a limited time, you can get 15% off when you order at bondcharge.com with the code EXCELLENCE. The discount applies site-wide, so make sure you check out their blue light blocking glasses and red light face mask as well. You'll also get free shipping and a 12-month warranty. That's BONCHARGE.com with the code EXCELLENCE, 15% off your order, bondcharge.com. Use the code EXCELLENCE.
Yeah, we have a traditional sauna, and the thing you don't envision, you don't talk about is how long it takes for the sauna to heat up.
Right.
So you have like 30 minutes free open.
And it's just getting warm
but
up.
You're like, well, it takes 25 minutes just to get it. So you have to you need a pretty big gap to be able to do that. It is one of the benefits of this quick acting.
Agreed. Okay, we've got two more questions. We've got one from Joe and one from Jen. We'll go with Joe first. He says, my gym is limited in size, so in the morning class, we often work in pairs. You go, I go. A typical session includes 20 minutes of strength focus followed by an 18-minute AMRAP in pairs. Is this sufficient? I'm concerned that I'm effectively only working out for 9 minutes. I'm not a competitive athlete, but I want to push myself and make steady progress.
Here's the first thing. You do what you can with what you got for where you are. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's a pretty cool way for this gym in limited space to be able to format that. 20 minutes of strength, and then we're going to do essentially intervals, it sounds like, or maybe it's 9 minutes on. I go 9 minutes, you go 9 minutes.
My sense was the first one, the I go and then I rest and then you go. So intervals is probably more like it. Yep.
Is that enough to get fit? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Is it comprehensive? Is it all-inclusive? No, but very few programs are. So I don't think you need to go in search of something else. Particularly if you just spent 1 day a week going for a 30-minute run on your own. That would be my suggestion for Joe. Is just a 1 day a week after the workout, or maybe instead of the workout, go for a 30-minute run, particularly if this is kind of gnawing at you a little bit. Like, I really do feel like I'm missing part of this capacity thing. You would certainly do a lot to move yourself forward in that regard if you went for as little as 20 and try to bump it up, edge around that 40, and certainly 45 minutes would be plenty.
And that's just a time domain thing. That's just assuming you are, in fact, only doing a Metcon for 10 minutes. Is you want to get into that 15, 20, 30-minute time frame? Or 40?
Well, I'm assuming that what they're doing is, he says it's a CrossFit gym. I'm assuming they're doing CrossFit-type movements. That's going to be a very high level of intensity. It's going to be really like 1 minute on, 1 minute off for 18 minutes is a lot, but it's like there's not a lot of, variance to it. And one of the things that we'd be missing is that longer, slower time domain. I'm not saying you got to go do a bunch of zone 2 stuff. That's not it at all. As I started the conversation off with, yes, this is sufficient.
Yeah. It should be said, you can, and you said it, but it's worth repeating, which is you can work really hard in a partner workout. There's nothing limiting you to
For
work.
sure.
And I say that I remember laughingly, and you remember Stacy Kroon. Back in the day, Stacy Kroon was a games athlete, and I coached her for a little while, and we were good friends. And for some dumb reason, I signed up for a competition with her, and I was not a CrossFit Games level athlete. And I found myself in a partner workout with her in this I go, you go, which ended up just being me going slowly and her screaming at me, and then finally me getting the reps done, and then her going very quickly and my turn again. And so there's nothing limiting about a partner workout. You just have the ability to go much more intensely for a short period of time. Yeah.
I would encourage the gym to, because 20 minutes of Metcon is plenty to be able to do a bunch of different things in a bunch of different formats. And the way you structure team workouts is really important. It's more important than individuals. If you go, I go, and the movement is ab mat sit-ups, like even air squats. There's so many different variables at play when you go, I go. You have to, even like burpees, which is very metabolic. If I'm allowed to do, I do one, you do one, I do one, you do one, then you're just doing burpees slow. Like there's a lot of very nuanced aspect to team workouts that are not a consideration for individuals. So, there's a lot of different ways you can skin that cat. That's such a weird saying.
That is a weird saying, but that's it. All right.
Where did that come from? That's
no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. All right. Last question we've got this episode is from Jen. She says, I've been doing strength and conditioning for the past 6 years and now want to try CrossFit. I'm 52 and from various podcasts and media, I hear that strength training is crucial for my age. Will CrossFit cover this or should I include additional strength training? I also try to do a 5K run on weekends or shorter runs during lunch.
Yeah, Jen, it's a good question. And it's one that I can't answer because when you say CrossFit, I don't know what you mean. I know what you mean, but I don't know the specifics. I know that we're talking about animals, but I have no idea what species of animal you're talking about. I know we're not talking about boats. I know we're not talking about
vegetables.
Yeah, countries. I know we're not talking about musical instruments. I know we're talking about animals, but I don't know if that animal is safe to have in your house, like that type of thing. So here's what I would suggest is I think you're on the right track. If the CrossFit that you're doing does not have strength training as a regular part of it, I do think that you should add some, and some is in air quotes because it's some strength training to the program. What is some? 2 to 3 days a week of the primary slow lifts. Squat, dead, press. Squat, front and back, sumo, traditional, dead, bench press, strict press. That should show up 2 to 3 days a week. If you did that, lifting at loads above 80% of max, you will get all of the benefits that you're looking for in terms of the strength components that come along with aging for a 52-year-old. So with that in place, will you get a lot of the strength benefits from doing CrossFit without that? You will. Yes, you will. Way, way, way more so than somebody going to a spin class or somebody going to an Orange Theory or a Barry's boot camp. And those are the ones that are like doing it really well, right? Way more so than Pilates, yoga, or 5K run. Like CrossFit is probably the best what do we call it? Program? Fitness methodology. Yeah, the best methodology for improving strength if we weren't including true strength training, because we do lift with loads that are above, 30% of your 1 rep max, which everyone else does not. Everyone else is going to be like, okay, grab the 20-pound dumbbells. And everyone's like, 20? What? Like 20 pounds? We're playing with, 95-pound barbells for, 52-year-old women. Mm-hmm. So yes, you will get a lot of it. Will you get all of it? No. To get all of it, you need to be doing 2-3 days a week of true strength training with the true strength lifts.
Take it. All right, my friends, if you would like to be like Samantha and Sarah and Joe and Jen and get a question into a future episode, www.chasingexcellence.email. Get on the free newsletter list. We will send out an email on the weekends and with a link to a form, and you can submit as many questions as you'd like, and we will do our best to get it into a future episode. We thank you for listening. We thank you for sharing the show with your friends, for your ratings and your reviews. Ben and I will be back soon with a brand new episode of Chasing Excellence.